Hey, John. Thanks again for using Racers360. We're excited to be working with you again. I think we made a nice step forward. You've sent in a Watkins Glen video before, and we were talking a lot about delaying that initial throttle application and not having one nice smooth application. So I still think we're working on that. We've definitely made progress, but let's go ahead and start breaking some things down here. Into turn one, I think your line looks actually really, really good. Nice break point, delayed. Let's take a look here as we slow motion it. As we get down the apex, really nice. I'm happy with that. What I would notice though is we kind of, and again, we're nitpicking, we're made progress. Now we're just filling that last little bit. We kind of have two small hits to the throttle. I'm not sure if we'll see it on data here. There's one, there's two, and then you can see here, we're starting to feed it in, then it drops a little bit, then we come back. And you notice here, we only get back to full throttle really, really late because of that. So again, we're fighting that kind of thing inside us. It's like, get the throttle, right? So just continue to work on that discipline and say, hey, I'm not allowed to get the throttle until I can start to unwind the wheel. Now, turn one's a really hard one because there's just no grip there, right? We're always fighting the car with exit, which means it's even more important to do that. So let's take a listen. I'm going to put it full volume, play it full speed, go back through it as well. So nice. Wait. Now go. And then you probably be back to full throttle by now already because you've taken that weight off the front end. You've induced that a little bit more of understeer. The weight transfer's not in the right place, and now we're fighting it, and that's hurting us all the way to turn three. So wait, that when you want to get to that first step, take a breath, wait till that where you enter that second step is exactly where I want to see it. And I think if you could have just saved that first step, really been a little bit slower, and sometimes you have to go slower. And I've noticed that with my teammates, at some of the hairpin corners. Turn one's a good example where I'm like, feels so slow, but then I look at the data and I'm 2 miles an hour faster than them, but they're getting a better exit because they're just wailing on the throttle and I'm fighting it just like you are. So I know it sometimes feels slow, but sometimes we just have to really keep that discipline until we can get a nice feed in it. So continue to work on that good progress, still more that we can work on. That's going to be, again, the main thing that we're going to focus in on here. Turn three, I think we could drive it a little bit harder in. Braking, nice entry. Let's take a look here. Trailing off. A little bit too early to throttle again here. So we're starting to feed it in right here. I really want to see you delay that initial throttle until we get that left front tire up on the curb. And that's where I want to pick it in, no earlier than that. So continue to work on it. No throttle. Wait. Now is where I want to start to feed it in. And you can see here, actually, you have to feed some throttle off. So we're increasing. Right here, you actually drop. And that's at the point where I'm getting back to full throttle by about now. And then you can see you only get back to full throttle here. Next small point is just a small thing here. Well, it'll add up a lot on times. Get those eyes up. Use that road on exit. There's a lot of room out here. I know this curb is kind of counterintuitive, but use as much road as you can out of here because that just really ends up allowing to roll a lot more entry speed and allows you to get full throttle earlier because you can unwind the wheel, let the car be free, and then obviously you've got to come back to the left side of the road. So you kind of get out there, but you just get out there too late. So I would be opening my hands earlier and getting out there earlier and using more of it even. Into turn four here. Let's take a look. I think we actually sound pretty good on throttle. Let me turn the volume back up and take a listen. Let me back that up, actually. 1 second, sorry. So for me, a small thing here is, again, I want to see you. This is a corner that I really trail brake deep around the corner. Actually, I want to trail brake almost till like the end of that curve because you need a lot of front grip to kind of hold it left and not overslow too much. So two things here. I want to see you using that inside curve. It's a little hard to see, but it doesn't look like we use much of it. I like to get up on where the curve goes from gray and then that green and yellow curve starts. That's where I want to get up and use a lot of it. I want to trail brake all the way around to the end of it. So you notice how you're starting to pick up throttle here, which I think is a pretty good spot. But this is kind of a weird corner that it doesn't really help us to get to throttle that early. And then what ends up happening is it pushes you wider than you want to be. And then you have to lift earlier for this next right-hander. So I'd like to see you maybe get off of that peak brake pressure earlier, brake longer and lighter, and then get a good squirt of throttle. So a squirt of throttle that's more aggressive than what you're doing now, maybe even a squirt of full throttle, maybe at least a 70% throttle, and it might be for less amount of time. But then what I want to see is then you can maybe lift bigger here, get more rotation here, and then in this section, let me turn the volume back up. In this section, again, try to get a little bit more aggressive to throttle. But I think that all starts by trail braking deeper into 4, more weight on the front end, be able to keep it left without slowing it down even more. You can probably have the same amount of speed, but trail braking more will allow you to have an easier time keeping it to the left, be more aggressive to throttle for that little bit of time that your hands are straight. A bigger lift will help rotate the car, and I think that will allow you to be a little bit more aggressive to throttle in between 5 and I think it's 5A if I'm correct. I can't remember if it's 6 or 5A, one of the two, but a little bit more aggressive in here. And then once again, you'll have the same lift and then getting the throttle only at the apex. So you notice how you start to get the throttle back in here. What I'd rather see you do is actually drive it harder or get back to full throttle or keep the throttle a little bit longer. I think your lift comes in a pretty good spot, but so it'd be a little bit more aggressive to throttle. What I would like to see is rather than you picking up throttle already, I would like to see you have more entry speed and wait, now feed in the throttle, and you'll get back to full throttle at the same point, but the car will be better positioned, you'll have less understeer, and you'll have more entry speed as well. So ultimately, what it kind of looks like is I want you to actually spend less time at maintenance throttle, and when you're on throttle, be more aggressive, and then actually have bigger lifts. That actually works better for weight transfer. Very rarely do I want to be at maintenance throttle. I don't like that. The car doesn't like that. So I try to spend as little time as possible really at that. So think to yourself, try to trail brake longer, more aggressive to throttle, bigger lift, more aggressive to throttle, bigger lift, wait till it's apex, bam, back to full throttle again. That'll help rotate the car and get a better exit. Hopefully that all makes sense through there. It's kind of a complicated little section. Through the S's, I think we can have slightly later turning point. So you see, I would say your turning point kind of comes back in here. I really want to wait, and like now start turning really at the start of that curve and be a little bit more aggressive to it, because what ends up happening is I want to be a little bit more parallel to the back side of this curve here rather than apexing a little bit earlier and looking this way, because that pushes you wide and that hurts your rhythm. So turn a little bit later, a little bit more decisively, and then you'll be a little bit more parallel, a little bit left low, keep it left a little bit longer there, then turn harder back to the right. So what ends up happening is, you notice how you're kind of apexing before this curve even starts. I want to be a little bit wider and really getting where you are now. I only want to get there now. So get there a little bit later so you can keep it left longer, turn a little bit harder back to the right. Then you'll have an easier time with straighter hands over the crest of this curve here. You're just a little bit letting the car drift to the right before you want it to. That'll help your rhythm all the way up through this section as well. Turn 10, that's a tough corner. I think we look pretty good. Slightly early to throttle, and that's why you have a lift here. So you can see we get back to full throttle for a quick instance, and then bam, we drop off of it, and then we get back on it eventually. We can see how it's a little indecisive. It's a tough corner. To be honest with you, 60% of the time, I end up doing exactly what you're doing now. My goal is, and I just want to highlight that, delay it a little bit, try to have that one nice hit of the throttle. That'll really, really help. Into Oak Tree, I think we're looking really good. I like the line, one downshift, waiting. Now, here's the big thing again. See how you're starting to pick up throttle back in this section? I really want to be disciplined. Wait. Now go to throttle. And then this lift here, say you're going back to full throttle, but you have a lot of understeer because we're too early to throttle. This lift here is going to kill you all the way down this straightaway. That is like 0.3 of a second, that little lift, just like that. So really be disciplined. Think to yourself, if your brake zone looks something like, and I think you have a pretty good trail brake through here. Oops, hit the wrong button. Do that one more time. So if your brake zone right now, let's say into Oak Tree looks like this, and we're coming off, and we're trailing, and we're trailing, and we're trailing, and let me get this a little bit longer. And let's say the apex is roughly right about here, and you're picking up the throttle right about there. What I'd like to see is, bam, same thing, boom, but come off even more and really, really trail. And that right here will allow you to roll more entry speed. You might have a slightly, you'll have a later minimum speed. You might even have a slightly slower minimum speed. But I think the main thing is get that minimum speed coming later in the corner, only when you get to that apex, delay that throttle, and then bam, one hit of it, one progression. That's going to be a big point for you, and it'll really, really help all the way down this back straightaway. So end of the back straightaway here, this is going to be a little bit strange. So you're following where the rubber looks like it's going. What I'd like to see is drive it straighter longer. Most of the time now, and I'm in higher downforce cars, but in a higher downforce car, we're turning in at that arrow. But even in lower downforce cars, I'm not really turning in any earlier than that one board, right around that one board. What's going to happen, and I'll show you why, it's going to set you up better over the crest of the hill to roll more entry speed and still keep it left. So you're turning in early, right? What ends up happening is at this point, you've got a car that's kind of looking very straight. If you can turn in that later down by that one board a little bit harder, you'll have a car that's going to be looking more in this direction. So what ends up happening is it's going to be easier for you at a higher speed to keep it left. So now you have to over slow. I want to be kind of apexing this curve, the back side of it. And I can do that because I turn later, a little bit harder. I'm coming in from a wider angle, and I can keep parallel to the back side of it without having to over slow. Because we turn in earlier and we're straighter, you have to turn in more now. And to be able to do that and keep it left, you have to over slow the car to do that. So focus on trying to drive it a little bit deeper in. And I don't even necessarily mean braking any deeper, but keeping it straight longer, turning more aggressively, not much later than that one board, but about there. And that's going to set you up, have an easier time over the crest of the hill to be looking in this direction without over slowing it. And my hope is you'll be able to do that. You'll feel way more settled over the crest of this hill, and you'll naturally want to bring in more entry speed and maybe naturally want to brake a little bit deeper as well. Again, here, same thing. Look at our throttle coming too early. We're going to wait. Now is where I want to pick up that throttle. Through this fast left-hander, perfect job. Really, really nice through here. I'm really, really happy. We're really good through this last section here, but small little bit through Hogman. So we're so close. Nice job. Nice line. Right here, see how we're starting to feed in that throttle? Be patient, because what ends up happening is that really kills your exit, because now you've taken that weight off the front, you have understeer, now you're fighting the rear through this whole section. So, and you probably have too much entry speed because of that. So be focused on, even if you feel too slow initially, delay that initial throttle. Wait, and right in here where we land, bam, that's where I want to get to it. And now I'm full throttle, and look at you. No, still not. And now we're kind of getting to it, but that last corner may not be quite flat. So I really want to be able to get to full throttle at least before that last corner. Maybe have a small lift if you need it, or be flat out if your car can do it. It's kind of borderline between what car you're driving. So in Hogman here, the big thing is your line's perfect, but that little bit of throttle right in here kills you. So wait, be patient, wait. Bam, now feed into it, and that's right as you're lifting. And now I'm getting the jump on you, and I'm getting that jump all the way down to turn one as well. So similar note to what we were talking about Watkins Glen, but we made progression. So we're definitely made a step forward. Now it's the next step. Obviously, this is really, really tough. Building in patience as a driver is a big thing. Just think to yourself, if you can't start to unwind the wheel, it's too early to get to throttle. That's probably the best thing to be able to think about while you're in there. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this makes sense. As always, let me know if you got any questions. If there's anything else we can do for you at Racers360, please let us know. We're appreciative to be part of your journey. Hopefully see you at the track soon, and see you off next year.